Well, hello out there in YouTube land. It's Greg from Greg's Mowers and More, and you're probably thinking to yourself, boy, that is the oddest looking lawnmower I've ever seen in my life. Well, this is what I like to call a farmyard creation, a redneck special, any other number of things you can call it. But I was cruising the marketplace a couple of weeks ago, and I saw this thing pop up, and I just instantly knew I had to have it. I paid $25 for this gem, and I was speaking to the person on Marketplace that had it, and I told him, I said, whoever made this thing, I said we could be friends. And they sadly told me the guy that made this, he passed away, he's in heaven. And I said, well, that's good, because I'll still be his friend someday, and we'll get to talk about it then. But I guarantee you, you're not going to find another one of these. At least not exactly like this. This is a one-off custom creation. So I'm going to bring you guys in. We're going to take a little walk around it, drink it up before we even get started on it. And I do apologize for the wind noise. There's quite a bit going on today. I've been under the weather this week, as you can probably tell from my voice. It's kind of coming back, kind of not. By the time this gets done, it'll probably be about shot. But this mower deck was the first thing I noticed. This is a penncraft, which was made by J.C. Penney. This mower deck is from the 60s, I believe, possibly the 50s. We come back around here. It's actually in pretty darn good shape as far as the mower deck goes. The wheels are not. I'm sorry, I'm bumping into everything with my tripod. Bear with me. Probably giving you guys a headache trying to get you in here to show you this dang it, this tag. Maybe if I can get the dang tripod to work. Here we go. Yeah, J.C. Penney, model number 1238. I did probably an hour and a half of searching on the interwebs and could not find anything on this model number. I did find one very similar. I think it's a 1227 penncraft mower on eBay, not running, with the original Tecumseh on it. They're asking $600 for it, which I think is ridiculous. Mounted on top of this, we have a home light generator that's probably 30-40 years old, I'm not sure. But yeah, home light, 2250 watts, 120 volts at 3600 RPM, 60 hertz. And the generator looks to be in very good condition. The people I got this from said it had been sitting in storage for about 22 years, is what they told me. So, I mean, you can see somebody put some custom making into this deck here, and this thing probably exceeds the weight of my little crappy table. I'm just going to tell you, I about had a coronary getting her up here. I'm bouncing tripod around everywhere. Sorry for the camera work. But anyway, we got a Tecumseh. We got a Tecumseh on the front, which you guys know I'm not crazy about Tecumsehs, but that's what this one came with, and that's what we're going to try to get running today. We'll try to get her running, see if she puts off power. But man, when I first laid eyes on this thing, my thoughts were somebody had plans to use this, and they wanted to make it mobile, you know, around their farm or their property, or maybe they had a business. I don't know, but my thoughts went to like a farmer in some overalls dragging it around the property, putting it on a little wagon. He probably pulled that mower deck off the scrap pile after the Tecumseh that was on it through a rod. Hopefully this one won't throw a rod. But because you know these Tecumsehs, the needle and seats in the carburetors like to leak, and then they'll flood the oil pan, the crankcase full of gasoline, water down the gasoline, and then the next thing you know, you got a throwing rod. But anyway, let's dive into this and see what we can do for it. See if we can get her going, see if we can't. Let me set you guys back up and we'll dig in. can't tell, I'm really excited about this. Like, really excited. So on an old Tecumseh like this, the first thing I want to do is I want to check the oil. I'm going to try to get you guys to where you can see me do that, because if it's over full with gasoline, then it's probably going to come flowing out. So we'll know right away. Let me set you guys right here. I think that's probably a decent vantage point, maybe a little further back, maybe there. And I just kicked the tripod. Forgive me, guys, it's been a long day. It's been a long, long week. So here's our oil fill plug. We're going to pull this out. And just like I suspected, it's spewing out oil everywhere and it reeks of gas. So I think we're going to change the oil in it before we even try to start. I haven't even seen if it rolls over yet. I probably should do that. It does roll over and have compression. That's as far as I'm going to go. I'm going to get my license plate out and drain the oil out of this. I always keep old bent up license plates. That way you can just kind of tuck them up underneath there like that. Grab my partially full drain pan here. Get it up here. Figure out what size that plug is. Probably a 3/8. Yep. 3/8. Hopefully it'll come loose. Oh, jeez. Okay, there it goes. Yeah, definitely. Somebody probably left it with gasoline in it, and after a while, it leaked past the needle valve in the carburetor, flooded the crankcase. So I'm going to kind of hold my license plate up at an angle like that, pull my drain plug out, and then that oil should come right down here, go right into my drain pan. Oil looks pretty darn black as well. I bet if I pull this open a little bit, it'll drain a little faster. I hope. Yep, there it goes. I don't see any metal shavings though, so that's a good sign. But yeah, there's a few reasons to keep old license plates around. They make good for metal patching, they make good for fixing decks. If you got a bad floorboard in your truck, you can screw them in there. Getting some oil all over this vintage penncraft deck, that way it won't rust out for another 60 years. Yeah, I just knew as soon as I saw this, I needed to have this. You guys had to see this. We're done draining. I've always loved the ingenuity of people, the creations they make. I'm sure it's nothing real special to a lot of people, but I enjoyed it. And I'm sure somebody was pretty darn proud of it and probably used it quite a bit. I drug it around the yard a little bit. It rolls pretty good. With as much as that generator weighs, carrying that around by those handles gets old real fast. Alright, let me get my funnel out. can't remember if this is straight 30 weight or 530. One or the other. Either way, it'll be good for this. It's heavy duty diesel oil. Be the best oil this Tecumseh's had in it in at least 2 decades. Looks like we're pretty full already. All right. Go ahead and put my funnel away. Next thing I want to do is take the plug out. And I'm going to lube inside the cylinder with some Croil. Also want to look at this plug. See what the burn pattern tells me on it. See if it was running rich and having trouble running when you put it away. Oh yeah. You can see that plug. It's dark black and sooty. Yeah, it was running rich. That or it was an oil burner, one of the two. We'll find out shortly. I'm going to give it a healthy dose of some Croil with silicone in it. It's probably like $3 worth of Croil right there. Alright, I'm going to roll it over. That way it'll lubricate the cylinder and the valve. Get it splashing some of that oil around down there. That should be pretty good. Now we're going to see if we got any spark, which I highly doubt, since this is probably a, I don't know if there's numbers on this or not. I don't know how to read Tecumseh numbers, but my guess is it's probably a late 60s, early 70s. It says it's an H50, which I think is a 5 horsepower. I'm just not a big fan of these Tecumseh engines. I never have been. Alright. I don't know if I'm able to get you guys in here to see that or not. I'll try. Alright, that's about as good as I can get. Let's see what we get when we pull this thing over. Oh, I'll be. We do got spark. Oh, we did have spark. And we still have spark. Okay. Zoom you guys back out. We have spark. So we're going to put the plug back in. So hopefully this has electronic ignition on it. That would be nice. Alright, plug's back in. I think I want to put a better crimp on that plug wire's not exactly staying firm on that plug like I like to see. We'll firm that up a little bit. There we go. Okay. We're going to go ahead and pull the air cleaner off on these Tecumsehs. Oh, our choke rod's bent up a little bit too. Look at that. Bend that back. 2 flat blade screws. You don't have to take them all the way out. You just got to back them off a little bit. And then this will twist. Pull right off of there. And it's kind of stuck in there. Genuine Tecumseh with dandelion leaves and everything. I'm going to go get my carb cleaner. We're going to give it a little shot, see if it barks off. Open up the choke here. Shut the choke. Alright, here we go. Here goes nothing. Alright. Fired right up for us. Cool deal. Now, before I go putting any fuel in this tank, I know darn well if I dump it in the tank right now, it's going right in the crankcase. I don't want that. So I'm going to go ahead and pull a little float bowl off here. I think it's a half, if I remember right. Hopefully we can do this without tearing up the gasket. I guess it's smaller than that. 7/16 maybe. So. You can see that we have some corrosion on here and some rust. I'm going to try to wet around this bowl a little bit, clean it. Sometimes you give them a little bit of wetness and they'll come off a little better for you without ripping. Like that. And you can see in the bottom of that bowl, we got all kinds of rust. Believe every word of what they said about sitting for 20 some years. All right. Should be able to just reach up in here. Let me get the pliers. I do not carry Tecumseh parts. I don't work on them that often. There we go. And then our float and our little needle valve should just come right down. They do. And there's our needle valve. It's all metal. It wasn't stuck open. It must have just been leaking around there. Whoa. Oh man. All right. I'm going to run my piece of tag wire up through all these little orifices down in here. I lost the dang red thing for the red straw for my car cleaner. Well, that's awful. Alright, well, kind of stinks. Alright, I got my wire brush on my grill. I'm going to go ahead and try to clean this float bowl up a little bit. I can't really get in there as much as I'd like to. I need to get out here. See where all this varnish was coming off of here at. That's all varnish. Look at it coming off. It's all varnish fuel, every bit of that. So yeah, I'm kind of disappointed. I'm going to spray a little bit of this Kroil on the bottom here. Go at this with this wire brush, because this Kroil is the best penetrating oil I've ever found. It is worth every penny. How you guys doing out there today anyway? I forgot to ask that. I hope the weather's better where you are than it is here. It's, I don't know, it's about 98 degrees out with a heat index of 105 here. In case you can't see the sweat coming off of my brow. Yeah, I'm not able to get in them corners real good either. I need to be able to get in them corners. Wonder if I can get in there with a flat blade. Go. Just trying to break that stuff up and get it out of there. Could have soaked this thing in the ultrasonic for a day or two, but today is Friday and I still got to have time to edit this video. So I'm kind of running out of time. Had a whole lot go on this week. I had a chicken we had to put down. Started getting sick Monday. Ear infection, sinus infection. Just it's been a heck of a week. I'll tell you that much. I'm praying it gets better soon. I'm already kind of on the mend. I went to the prompt care yesterday. I think I might have had a little heat exhaustion too, because I fell asleep in the waiting room for like a half hour and they had to wake me up to get me in there. So I would appreciate your prayers for my healing. I've been doing this before, going at these, and then you put them on there, you put gas in them, and they leak because a hole rusted through them somewhere down here. My goodness. Alright. It's not as good as I would like it to be, but I think I'm going to go ahead and throw that back on anyway. Because I'm running out of carb cleaner. You know what? I just remembered that snowblower video I did a while ago. Listen to this if you can hear it. It's old stale fuel. That float's got a hole in it somewhere. That float's bad. Let me see if I've got a replacement hanging around. So we might have just fixed this thing. Okay, so that was a debacle. I don't have any more brass floats, unfortunately. If I could get all the crap out of this one and know where it's leaking at, I could solder it, but I don't know, and I can't tell. So I went in there and cannibalized my snowblower with a brand new carburetor on it. And we're going to try using the plastic float with the original needle valve that came out of this carburetor and see if it won't run like that. I don't know if it will. The floats seem to be the same height. The ears seem to be the same. So we're not changing the jetting or anything. As long as the float height is close, it should run. It might not be perfect. All I want to do is get it running and see if it's going to put out any voltage at all. I don't plan on running it any length of time. If it's a good running engine, I have no problem ordering the parts that I need to fix it. But for the length of video, if I can order the parts I need to fix it, I'm sure I can. But just for this video, I want to see if I can get it running again after sitting for 22 years. I want to give it a shot. So we're going to try to put this old needle valve back in with this new float, and hopefully it'll work. I didn't check to see if the spacing's the same for the pin. That might be a problem. We shall soon see though. Nope, it's gonna fit. I think it's gonna fit. Uh-oh, I just dropped the roll pin. Sorry guys, I know I'm standing right in front of you. I'm not trying to, but it's kind of tricky stuff here. You can just pull the carburetor off. There you go. Uh-oh, needle valve just fell out. Okay. It's going to get a little trickier yet, I think. Let me just pull that back out. Maybe. Oh, come on now. Yeah, I could have had this carburetor off of there by now for all this dinking around. Got to be able to get this needle valve to stay in there. Now where'd I set the pin at? There it is, it rolled underneath my pliers. Come on now. Okay. Sometimes when you're trying to get something to run through the camera, it's harder than just waiting around for the parts. Well, I'm going to give this thing a little bit of fuel. You know what? I didn't even look in the gas tank yet. I need to do that and make sure there's not a bunch of crud at the bottom. No, fuel tank's clean. I'm going to give it a little bit of gas and we're going to see if it starts pouring out or leaking all over. Praying it don't. That snowblower's got an H50 on it too, so they're the same engine, about the same vintage. That should be more than enough. Okay. I think we're ready to rip it and see what it's going to do. Choke's closed. Here goes nothing. Factory needle valve, little fresh fuel, little fresh oil, sitting there running good, making power, almost like it was never shut off. I'm going to shut it down and fire it back up again. Crazy, man. there, I thought we were going to be defeated. I really did. Thought it was going to be wait for a carburetor. Nope. I'll tell you what, that is a good run in Tecumseh. Probably the best one I've ever had. The generator works. It's not the biggest generator in the world, but I tell you what, if I have a power outage, it'd be good to have. I mean, I'm sure the carburetor probably needs a little bit of tuning on, but that plug was telling me it was running rich. If that float was sinking down in the fuel level and they were trying to run it that way, of course it's going to run rich. It's getting way more fuel than it needed. Doesn't seem to be running too rich now. It seems to be running about right. It's definitely putting out good power. My grinder over there kicked right off. My light must be shot. I'm going to have to get a new shop light, but that's okay. Well worth it. Well worth the $25 I paid for it. And this old penncraft deck, I don't know that I could put a price tag on it. I don't know what it's worth. To somebody it's just going to be scrap, but to somebody that collects these it's probably worth quite a bit. But I don't think I'm going to separate them. I think I'm going to keep this around in case I have a power outage add to my generator fleet. I already have 2, and this will be the biggest one out of the 3. I think I might hang on to this. I might hang on to it Tecumseh for once. So, I gotta tell you guys, life is hard. Life is very, very hard. Just about the time you think you might have it all figured out, something else happens and throws you off balance just to show you don't. And I think that's the hand of God trying to tell you, hey, I'm God. My ways are higher than your ways. Lean not on your own understanding, but lean on me. Trust in me. I am so glad that I have Jesus as my Savior. He is Lord of my life. I pray to Him every day. Every day. I hand my day over to Him. I surrender to Him fully. I just let Him take the day and do with it what He will. Does my arrogance and my will get in the way every once in a while? You bet it does. You absolutely bet it does. And that's why I need the forgiveness of Jesus. I'm not trying to hide. I'm a sinner. I'm a sinful man. Until the day I stop breathing, I probably won't ever stop being a sinful man. That's another reason why I need Jesus. I could list a million reasons why I need Him, and He can't list a single one why He needs me. But He loves me anyway, and He chose me. He left the 99 sheep, and He came after me, guys. And I'm thankful He did. And He wants to add you to the flock. He wants you to accept Him as your Lord and Savior. He died on the cross for the sins of mankind. If only you'd accept Him and repent, admit your wrongs, and turn from your sins, He would help you. He would help you to live life more fully and have it more abundantly. But anyway, guys, I really appreciate you taking the time to watch my videos. The people out there that own this generator prior to me, thank you for letting me have it. I'll give it a good home, I promise. And I'm pretty sure that the guy that owned it before me is up in heaven right now. He's probably smiling and laughing and saying, oh, that sounds so good. And thinking all the projects he must have used it on and when he put it together. And oh yeah. But thank you guys again so much for watching. Have a great day. God bless. I hope you've enjoyed it.